So you recall from the diagram that you see are 3 A's. And as I said, we're going to focus on accountability. And they're all sort of interrelated. But what we're hoping to do is to create this bank or repository of guiding questions when it comes to equity. And it is really intended to be a resource and kind of an extension of the guidance and advice that you offer to PSC. Next slide, please. You are well aware that we have been through a process, beginning with our focus on accessibility and affordability, and now accountability. And hopefully we'll be able to, after this conversation, move to an opportunity to actually use this guide in February. That is certainly the goal. Next slide, please. When we had our discussion and based on feedback from you, we came up with some additional A's. And the A's are to aim or to establish sort of a goal. When I see this, I visualize a bow, if you will, and pulling back that bow and making equity what you use as the arrow. Assess to make sure that we are continuing to be on the right track, to advise, and to be of some meaningful support to PSC as they go on this journey. And then more importantly, to figure out what specific actions need to be undertaken. So if you look to what is my left, it is the Equity Discussion Guide framework, then developing a bank of guiding questions, and then also developing an appendix for other resources. So let's take a moment and let me see if anyone has any questions. I know that we don't have a full complement of members yet, but maybe we want to go back a couple of slides just to make sure that we are on task here. So does anybody have any questions related to the purpose or any additional clarity? Can we go to the next slide? Anyone have any issues around what we've reviewed and what our goal is? The next slide, please. And then in terms of the components, are we missing anything? Does this continue to make sense? Or should we be considering anything else? Dennis, I see your hand up. We are talking about, in many instances, the who, the what, and the how. And to your point around outreach and active listening, while this guide is going to be used for PSC, I think it will also have ramification for the broader range of stakeholders. So here is a greater fleshing out of what we see in terms of the process for the guide. And again, these are based on comments and feedback from you, particularly around the acceleration of equity. The inaugural group made it very clear that we felt some urgency around making sure that equity was embedded. And then I draw your attention to the actions and ask if these remain consistent with your view of the next steps that need to be undertaken. So we have research, barrier recognition, communication, engagement, policies, programs, and evaluation. Based on your commentary from the prior slides, is there anything that you'd like to see added here? Let's move to the next slide, please. When we had our initial conversation around the 3As, this is what you all identified as key aspects of accountability. And what we've done here is to amplify the aspects of those items for your further comment or adjustment, amendment. So responsible parties and relationships, trust through transparency and a just process, commitment to follow through, and learning through evaluation. Seems to me, based on the prior conversation, we may be missing one thing around, closing the loop for action and feedback. Being mindful of time. We talked about who needed to be included, variety of stakeholders. Here, the emphasis is on community, which is a broad term.